Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Um, so my talk today is going to be about Legos. Don't you just love Legos? Trying to put them together to build something new or create like entirely new worlds. Um, but yeah, I'm kidding. It's not about Legos, but the concept of Legos. So picking a programming language or something to like build with is usually like trying to pick a place to get dinner. You're always like, oh, I don't know what to eat. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to eat. It's a cycle of, oh, I don't know what to use. I don't know how to do that. And the fact is that, so especially like, so I'm a JavaScript developer, and the fact is that when you're trying to like do stuff with JavaScript, you're not sure what exactly to use because there's a lot everywhere. There's JavaScript on the web, there's JavaScript there, there's different frameworks for the web, there's different stuff for different purposes. And JavaScript developers are kind of like the kid in the movie It, where Pennywise tells him, I have something nice down here. So when you tell a JavaScript developer there's a new framework down here, they just want to dive right in. It's kind of like the joke where we kind of have a new framework coming up every single second. And but the big question that it's is suitable to ask always is the why. So why am I using this? Like, what is this going to give me? Do I need to cost? Am I working with content developers? I need to set up like a place for them to contribute. Do I need faster build times? Do I need this? Is my engineering team already familiar with a specific part of it? Like, this is the important question. The why is the important question, not the buzzwords and all of those cool stuff. So today we're going to be talking about Gatsby JS building blocks. And my name is Obinna Ekwuno. You can find me on Twitter as Obinna Speaks. I usually tweet a lot about random stuff. I am a software engineer at Gatsby JS. I'm also a media developer expert for Cogniry. I do a lot of technical writing. My friends call me an accessibility nuisance because like I also advocate for accessibility, web accessibility, and accessibility in every aspect of it. And I preach a lot about the JAMstack. So please tweet at me, ask me a lot of questions. I'm really happy to answer. So the someone said that out of every great idea is born out of a problem. Some wise human said this, and they were right. Because like there are challenges that came about for like the frameworks that we have to be where they are today. So you have like getting started is always overwhelming. So when you have for example, my experience, I started off learning HTML and CSS and putting all that together. But then it got to scripting and I'm like, oh, what should I use? Where should I do this? Then, you start to bother about that. And there are different aspects of things that just, it's a lot. A lot of information is coming to you at the same time is really fast. And then the method of handling data is is evolving really fast. Like previously you would always have to like get like some maybe you would always have like some CMS, or you would have like you have your data in Markdown, or you'd have like some WordPress sites joined together. Things are like changing now because now there's a lot of decentralization between where the data is visualized and how the data is sourced. And things are in general getting like really hard because the industry keeps changing really fast. This is a very big problem, especially if you're coming from like a new a background where you're not in tune with what CMSs are and all that. I mean, the first time I heard the content management system, like, what's that? Because like most of these companies usually just came up around the time when the JAMstack like came up. Like you'd see companies like Contentful, Netlify, like all of those companies just came up. And let's talk about like the the reason why we're here today. So what is Gatsby JS? Most people would say that Gatsby JS is a static site generator. It was a React based static site generator used for creating dynamic static web apps. But well, Gatsby is a static site generator, but then it actually isn't all of that. So that's why I have this cute um photo here of this guy saying, well, yes, but then no. So Gatsby is not just a static site generator because it does a whole lot more than generate static sites. It helps you to build platforms faster, less code, helps you to bootstrap like your build times. You can also source data from many places, which is stuff that we'll see. So why Gatsby? Like I just explained, like why Gatsby. Gatsby has like a really nice plugin ecosystem. So if the way Gatsby is built is aligned to help you create your web platforms from the barest minimum. So it just gives you like a bootstrap of all the hard things that you're supposed to do, and then you can build on top of it by adding some plugins here. You can source data from different places depending on what fits you, and then all of this gets built really fast. Another thing that comes like out of the box with Gatsby is that it follows the PRPL principle for performance, which is it prefetches like your initial routes, renders those routes, pre-caches the remaining, and then lazy loads the rest for you, which is really cool for performance. It also has like GraphQL. It uses GraphQL to source data from different data sources, which yes, most people would always ask, do I need to learn GraphQL? And I would say, no, you do not need to learn GraphQL. But then you would, because we have like a tool called GraphIQL that helps you to figure out how to put to source your data from these different CMSs by constructing the data for you, by constructing the query for you. And then we also Gatsby also generates like only static sites assets. So all those dynamic stuff like stays until they're ready to use, and then optimize lazy loading, normalize third-party data. So if you look in depth, you would see that Gatsby comes as a solution to a problem by offering beginners a kind of like a boilerplate to solve the problem of, oh, it's overwhelming getting started. How do I do this? It has like a really cool documentation for you to actually learn more about it. And for experienced developers that would say, oh, okay, so this is what Gatsby does. How does this, how do I, since it gives me a template, how do I scale up and all of that? What then happens is, as your infrastructure increases, as you keep adding more stuff, Gatsby offers you APIs that helps you to like it scales up with you. So if you need to do more stuff with Webpack, Gatsby has an API for that. If you need to customize more schema for your queries, Gatsby has an API that allows you to do that. So think of it as like a borderline that allows you to build on top of it and get to like where you want your application to be. It also has this really cool stuff that I'm going to show a demo of today, which is pulling data from pulling data from different sources. This is actually just a screenshot from the Gatsby documentation. You can see that you can pull data from CMS, you can have data from like Markdown, you can use some API calls, all in Gatsby. Gatsby will build this for you and send this to the browser as static HTML, static files that gets regenerated with browser APIs to form a React site. So Gatsby builds super fast static sites. Super fast in the sense that it renders just static content to the browser, and then those get generated into your React application. So that's the part of Gatsby that we would like see. But wait, like there's more stuff. We have Gatsby Cloud. So Gatsby Cloud comes as like Gatsby Cloud is a build tool that helps you build your Gatsby JS sites faster. It reduces build time because like who better to know how to build Gatsby sites than Gatsby? I mean, so Gatsby Cloud helps you to build your Gatsby JS sites, and it also helps you to integrate with different CMSs. It offers real-time preview. It offers incremental builds, which is like, for example, if you had to build a site every time, if you're working in a really large system and you had to rebuild a site every time a change is made, you would see that you spend a lot of time building those sites. But what incremental build does is it kind of just sees the difference. So I like to compare it with the React virtual DOM, which kind of just sees the difference between the actual DOM and the virtual DOM, and then maps out like the difference and changes only updates what changed and then builds what changed. So you reduce build times. Gatsby also has a really cool feature right now, which is experimental, but then we're still building on it, which is Gatsby Recipes. And what Gatsby Recipes does is that it comes as a solution to how do I do this with Gatsby. So if you're thinking, if you're trying to remind yourself, how do I add authentication to my Gatsby site? How do I add theme UI? There's a recipe for that. So instead of going to documentation and all of that, you could just go to your CLI and say Gatsby recipes and hit enter, and it will show you a list of all the things you can add. And you click on the one you want, and then it just automatically adds that to your project. And that's the idea behind recipes, to kind of give you um, improve your workflow and then reduce the stress of having to go back and forth. This is how I think of recipes, because just cooking stuff. It's really cool. So Gatsby is React, but like on steroids and with lots of headache. This is me. This is my own definition of what Gatsby is. Because when Gatsby renders static files to the browser, it hydrates back to React application. I think it gives less headache, because like you don't have to worry about things like routes. We also have like so if you put your files in a page directory, it will automatically create like what's it called? Automatically creates routes for you, and then it's just a less headache with like being overwhelmed with how do I do this, how do I optimize for this, how do I optimize for SEO, how do I do all of that? Yeah. So if you think to yourself, because most people often have the idea that Gatsby is only for static stuff, so I can't do anything dynamic with it. But you can see that it goes way beyond static stuff. If you can't do it with React, anything you can do with React, you can do it in Gatsby. So that's the end of my talk, and may the force be with you. So I'm about to demo. Let me see. I'm about to demo something else. Let me try and share this. So we're going to be looking at how to. So I initially wanted to do like a live coding, but then now I'm just going to walk you through how I created a portfolio site with SignTIO and Gatsby. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to try to bump up my font size. Let me see. Yeah, so basically this is like a command. Let me just switch this to VS Code here. Okay. I think this is good. Okay. So we're going to look at like how I created like a portfolio site with Gatsby and SignTIO. So if you go to the first part, you'd also have to like install like some stuff. So if you want to install like Sanity Studios and stuff, you'd have to run the let me try. And so it's kind of weird because I need to move through different parts of my computer. Wow. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So I'm just going to share my entire screen. I'm just going to share my entire screen. Is this cool? Okay. So if you go to sanity.io, you can see this is like the first command that I will run, the npm install all of this. And what this will give you is it will give you that will give you like this Sanity Studio, and then you have all of these options to choose from with what's it called? You could choose a blog starter or something. I chose a blog starter, but then I had to edit it. Then I could create like so what Sanity helps you to do is that it helps you to kind of customize how you want your data to look like. So I created an object here called project, and you kind of have like the name, the title, the type. Sanity, if you read documentation, it has different types. You can see type string, type documents, And some types are umbrella types, and others are like really small types like string, slug, all of those things. If you've ever used like a content management system, you could kind of visualize how the data looks. And then all I did was just create like these fields from it, and then import that to the schema. So you can see I have like my projects here, and I imported my projects. I just kind of commented out all the things that I wasn't using anymore. So that's like how to set that up in like, so in a very, in a nutshell. And when you're done, if you want to have your Sanity Studio online, you could just run Sanity deploy. And then if you go to, oh yeah, let me just do this. Go to Sanity .io and then log in. You can see that I have like this already set up already. Don't worry about this. So the API, the credentials here are read only. So if you want to use some of the stuff I've done to build something, that's cool. You can't really contribute. I'm sorry. But yeah, so you can have what's it called? So you can see like the two types that I imported to the schema show here, which is the author and the projects. And because I had already run I had already run sanity deploy. Okay. Because I already run sanity deploy, I could have this URL. So URL is generated when you run sanity deploy. And you can see that I've already gone ahead to add some stuff here with like projects, and I added some stuff with like one author, me. and and then in the code, like I usually, most people like to have their one Git file handling the Sanity Studio and the Gatsby project. But yeah, so that's what I do. So now if you open like the Gatsby project, you can see like this comes from like a default Gatsby starter. So you could just do Gatsby new and then dots, and then you have like this default. And the first thing I did was you would go to like the so obviously I wanted to, let me just run this so we can see what it looks like. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Might need to bump this down a bit. Okay, cool. So Gatsby develop, just so we see what it looks like. Yeah, so this is actually my first time live coding, so I'm kind of nervous. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, but I hope I'm doing well. So I'm going to just take this URL and go back to my browser. So I'm running a lot of stuff, and like my computer is doing the most. Uh, okay, we're back. Okay. So this is kind of what it looks like. So I'm fetching this into my Gatsby application. I'm going to show you how I'm fetching this into my Gatsby application. Just 1 minute. I just want to show you what it looks like. So if we go to the Gatsby application, the Gatsby project, you can see that all of that action in the demo was showing in the index page. And if we come down to the pages and go to index.js, you can have the the query here. This is how I get like the query in. And you don't need to like bother about how do I get this query in my head or stuff, because like I said, Gatsby gives you this link here. You can see here that helps you kind of just figure out how the query should be. So if we just do all of that, and let's try and get like the query. So I know I had all Sanity projects. You can see, okay, let me just do this. So if you click on all Sanity projects, you have edges. It opens that for you. You have nodes. I'm going to look to be sure. Nodes, titles, description. You can get the title here. You can get the description from let me see. Oh yeah, there it is. You get description, So I might not need this, but if you click on this, you can see that this is generated. So I kind of have an idea of what my data is going to look like before I pull it in. So that's how I generate all the queries that is used here. And then this is like using image, and then this is using kind of a shortcode to get me the source set, and all of those things, fragments, using GraphQL fragments. And then usually, if you're familiar with JavaScript, I would just have to map this into, so map the data, send the data into my component as data, then map all of that out here. And then that's how I have this showing here. This is like the home page. That's how I have all of this showing here, just by mapping out this data. Let me go back to the code and try to explain. So I pass this query down here using data, and then I get data dot all projects dot. So just following the steps of here, and then doing that data dot map, and then I rename like the node. So when I get to nodes, I kind of rename it to projects so that it could be more readable, and then just use the project slug as the key, pass all of the information down into a list. And yeah, I have this awesome stuff going on here. I could show you how to programmatically create pages. Let me see. So yeah, so if we look at like this is how everything shows on the index page. And if I want to, for every time I click on, so this is like a cute photo that my team at Gatsby sent me from Gatsby days because I couldn't attend. So if I want to like open this up to have its own page, you can see that a URL was added here, and you can have everything could have its own page. Now let's see how that was done. So I want to query the same query I did the first time, but now with like a lot of like different stuff. So like I said, if you're trying to do more stuff than you're supposed to, Gatsby offers you APIs. So we're going to use like the create pages API. If you see, it comes with, you can take like actions and a GraphQL object here, and then you can then query for your data in that same space, and then kind of just map out each of the same kind of thing I did the first time with projects and then results, and then map that out. And the thing to point out here is that when you have like, so you get the actions object has a create page function that takes in oh that takes in parts. So don't mind, I got distracted, I was looking at the questions. That takes in a path, a component, and a context. And this path is what the URL gets updated to. And this is the component which is going to render the path and all the information that you want to be displayed. And the context here is what we're going to be passing into this component. So I would really love to do like a whole demo of this, but I'm just trying to get like show you like the idea of how Gatsby sources for stuff. And then we can see here where I just use the slug as like I pass from the context, and then just pass it into the. So this is what brings up this. I will try to like do like maybe a talk somewhere where I really just build this out, but that's like the whole idea. Another thing that I would really want to show before I leave is something on Gatsby Cloud. So to show you how builds actually work. So let me just go ahead to this index.js and kind of just, so this piece of code is not actually used. So I'm just going to remove that and kind of just turn this into reverse. That's how this works. Let me see. Is it Flexbox skills are terrible, but I think this reverse wrap. Oh, let me see. I think this is it. Should work. Let me go back to this. Nah, that scatters everything. Let me see. Oh, is that wrap reverse or reverse wrap? Let me see. I just destroyed my code. Let me see. Hmm. Oh, this is showing something else. Hmm. So you see, okay, Flexbox. See, this is really cool because like I'm doing some live coding. I'm doing some what's it called? Because I forgot the syntax. I think this is wrap reverse. I'm sure somebody was screaming at me. Obinna, it's not reverse wrap, it's wrap reverse. Oh yeah, thanks, gift. All right, let's see the code. Let's see. Yeah, so we have that. That's good. So now let's go back to like this and let's push something. So I kind of I do this weird thing where I open like every folder on its own part so that nothing misses me. So if I do some git status, oh yeah, we see that something has changed. And I already connected this project to Gatsby Cloud, which I'll show you how to do. And then if you do like some git add all changes, do git commits. Um I can say reverse flow of projects. And I do a git push origin master. Yeah. So that's there. And then if we go to gatsbyjs.com, which is where you could do like all the cool Gatsby Cloud stuff. You can see that I need to log in first. And if I log in, oh yeah, see a build. So this is like the whole interface of Gatsby Cloud. And you can see that a build is already like triggered. This is going to be a full build because I did a code change. So it's going to like be a full build. And usually like so I'm sourcing content from a third party. I also have like some really cool code there, but like I'm not doing any serverless or anything. So let's see how long this is going to take. While that is doing all the cool things it's doing, let's try and like let me go back to my Sanity Studio and try to like do like a content change. So let's say I come to like one of these things that I've done, and then I add like, oh, I really want to visit Santorini. It would be so cool. So I just want to do like a very small content change, and then yeah, so that's been published. Let's see what that does to my Gatsby Cloud. You can see that Gatsby Gatsby Cloud has picked up my content change and is already building it. Even as soon as I hit click, it's building it already. And this is queued for some reason. Let me refresh. Um, let me refresh. Oh, still queued. Okay, that's going. Oh, built the difference in 1 second. You can see that this would have taken a lot longer if I had to build everything. I would have waited for 52 seconds. But because I'm doing this on Gatsby Cloud, it kind of builds 1 second, and you can see my lighthouse scores are pretty neat. Fold everything really nice. Another 1 second, and yeah, that's about it. That's about everything I wanted to show today. Um, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.